I mean, personally, and you've been such a great actor because I genuinely hated your character at first, and now it's just like, I get this guy now. I understand where he's come from this whole time. He's still loyal to humanity. He just is very worried. And how did they tell you where you were going to end up when they started talking about?
No, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if they knew. I don't think I was supposed to last any more than a couple of episodes. That was it. You know, you had. Hey, Brian. Didn't even see you there, man. I'm like in my own little table zone here. Yeah, I don't think I was just happy to show up for a couple of episodes. I had no idea we'd be sitting here at this table 5 years later, man. Yeah. I mean, I really didn't. So I mean, it's all wondrous and awesome. I didn't even know what I was auditioning for. You know,
the idea that your character is now like just trustworthy and like in it, like how being able to kind of develop the character with them over a long period of time. How is that when you can? How have you been able to influence the character as you've been on the show this long?
Well, it's been fragile, and it may not fragile in my mind because I would sometimes take some liberties. I would. I'd just be in the moment, and I'd say things that weren't necessarily scripted or do things that weren't necessarily intended. And a lot of times I'll just do that for the other actor too, because I don't want them getting too comfortable. It's to keep it alive, you know. So, and they never shut me down. Sometimes they'd say that's not cool. Other times it was cool or whatever. But I never felt terrified to do it because I was on a Steven Spielberg show. So they gave me a lot of latitude. And a lot of times I'd shoot from the hip, and I'd be able to just kind of make it my own, which was very gracious and generous on their part, because a lot of writers don't do that, man. It's like, you got a comma here, you better hit it. You know, it's he's down at the beach, not down on the beach, and you're like, oh, geez, it's the same thing, man. It's the guy and he's at the beach. But I was able to. I don't know, kind of.
Isn't that a bit of your character too? Just kind of.
Yeah, and I guess, and obviously, hopefully, they thought it worked enough to allow me to continue. But I just think that took some guts and graciousness on the writer's part to do something like that. Everything from Mark Verheiden to Raimi, Abishan, and David Icke at the end of it. So all three of those guys really are responsible for a lot of stuff.
And I swear I'm going to stop monopolizing his time with one more question. So now that we're in this last season, your character does have that kind of arc where he kind of is being looked at as like, is he one of the people that's going to make it? And I know you obviously can't tell us if you're one of the characters that's going to make it, but how is that now going into this last season, knowing that people, like, you're kind of the Daryl of Falling Skies to a certain degree.
Right.
Like, people will be very, very upset if you die. Like,
well, I'll tell you, if anything, every one of us, and rightfully so, everybody started the season with phone calls to David Icke saying, kill me, and here's how I want to go out. I want to go out like Jimmy Cagney and the tanker in White Heat or whatever, you know. Because it would do a couple of things. Number one, it's cool, and you could mold your own death, but any other actor that cared about that character, I mean, my God, you're giving them something to play with, you know. I mean, if Hal dies, what's Mason? You know, that gives Noah a lot of stuff. So there was a lot of talk last season. We kind of expected everybody to die, to tell you the truth. I mean, you look at Game of Thrones, all you have to do is just do 2 episodes and they're knocking you off, let alone the end of 5 years. So I don't think any of us really expected to make it. So we were surprised to find how many of us did, and for what reasons. I mean, so it was, anyway, I'm amazed they didn't bump me off after the first 2 episodes I did back in season 1. So I'm just happy to be here. It's good.
So is the end for you satisfying as an actor or as a character? Which are you satisfied with the end?
I love the part. It's just great, man. You put on the wig and then stick on the tattoos, grow your face out, and put on that leather jacket, and I don't look like Pauly Shore anymore. You know, it's just fun. It's just cool, you know. No, it's just I think of Jack Palance. You know, it's cool. There are no great actors, just great parts. I got lucky. I got a great part. You know, next thing I'll be going out for a lawyer on some cop show, and then be that. Back to, and I'll still be happy to work on it. I think I still get to pay my rent, and it's a great thing. It's hopefully fun with some good people, but you get to roll up on a Harley Davidson and shoot a machine gun at the same time. It just doesn't get any cooler. It just doesn't. So.
Yeah. I have more questions, but I want you guys to be the last years. Okay. So one of my favorite things about your character is he seems to be the most propelled by loss. Like, he sees loss around him. He saw the loss of Earth, and that's what propelled him to fight back in the way he did.
Interesting. That's cool. Keep going.
And like it's just fascinating to me because every time you see your character and it seems like you're about done with humanity and you're about done with dealing with this and you want to go off on your own, they lose somebody and you see and your character has stepped in to make sure nobody else gets lost. It always seems to bring your character back. Is that something you had thought about?
No, but there's a lot of that in season 5. There definitely is. Definitely. No, it's just I say it's interesting to hear you say that because I'd always thought that, but I always thought it was kind of secret. You know, it's like Pope doesn't give a rat's ass about anything, but kind of ends up doing something anyway.
See, I always thought I took it as he's the guy who just cares too much and he can't handle caring.
That too. No, totally. That's weird though, because what you're saying is what you're seeing, and yet I think in terms of, okay, what's Pope thinking? And what he's thinking is that no one else should ever know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an actor. So I'm not seeing it as a writer, which would be that, or an audience member, which would be that. I'm still seeing it as Colin breaking down this character, and that character would never let anybody know he had any weakness whatsoever. You know, so that's just interesting.
I mean, every time you lost one of your crew to a skidder, I mean, you did a great job emoting him, just like, I can't lose another one of my guys.
Right,
and so it's just, I mean, you did a great job with it.
Well, we keep going down that road. Look, we're all looking forward to seeing it because there were so many. There were just a lot of changes throughout the season, and we had some new faces, some new people that came aboard, wonderfully talented people. But there was a get used to what are we doing with the stories and what are we doing with the characters, and so there was a little bit of some growing pains in the last season as well because it was also our last season. So I'm curious to see how it all. I'm looking forward to tuning in, man. I'll be sitting there.
Is there a standout episode for your character that we should look for?
God, I don't know, because right now they're not even episodes. They're just scripts that I can remember that we shot 7 months ago that were made changes of, and you got the different pages the night before, and then they changed it again on the day. So it's like I'm trying to remember. If there was a favor, we're all just trying to just make it as good as we possibly can.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I really appreciate your
thank
acting
you, man.
and
I
your
appreciate
character.
it.
It's
Thank
been a
you very
standout
much.
for the show to me.
Thanks, man.
Really look forward to
Why
the
can't
next
you
thing
all
do.
be as cool as this?
Sorry.
What's your name?
I'm Brian from
Ryan, Colin, thanks,
Pleasure to
man.
meet you, man.
Thank you so much.
Be good.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.